Hello guys, and welcome back to HJW Gaming. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the best commanders for newly starting players to focus on. If you enjoy this video, please smash the like button and please consider hitting subscribe, and without further ado, straight into the video. Starting off a new server, if you're not a high spending player, you're primarily going to be looking to use a tier 1 commander to begin with. But which of the tier 1 commanders are worth using? For the evil side, I would recommend Agzok, and for the good side, I'd recommend Dwalin. You can get either of these commanders unlocked at Respect 0 at the start of your Season 1 server by choosing either Angmar for Agzok or Erebor faction for Dwalin. And whilst I will have more comprehensive guides on these on my channel, I will briefly break these down for you now. First up, starting with Agzok. Agzok has plenty of skills which can output strong amounts of damage. When you get him at Respect 0, you're going to want to put most of your skill points into his top Respect 0 skill tree, Pursuer, and then once you have that 10 out of 10, then look to put points into Black Numenorian. However, it's once you get him towards Respect 3 and above where you really start seeing good damage output from Agzok. Once you get him beyond Respect 3, you're going to want to instead put 10 skill points into Shadow of the Mist first, then look to put remaining points into the Pursuer. Once you get to the point where both of these skills are maximised, any remaining points can go into Black Numenorian, but Shadow of the Mist and Pursuer are his main damage skills. For Dwalin, it is pretty similar. At Respect 0, we're going to want to put 10 skill points into the Experienced Warrior skill tree, and any remaining into the Musician skill tree. Once you get him up to Respect 3, however, and you'll want to do this as soon as possible, you will put 10 points instead first into the Durin's Blood skill. Make sure these points are allocated first before any other skill, as the bonuses within Durin's Blood will increase the damage of any other skills. Once you have 10 points in this, you're going to then want to put 10 skill points into Experienced Warrior. Of course, if you only have him Respect 3 or 4, your remaining points will then go into Musician. Though if you have Dwalin above Respect 5, you'll want to instead put any remaining points into his Adventurer skill tree. As far as gearing both commanders goes, they're both remarkably similar physical damage dealing commanders, so you're going to want to increase their attack as much as possible. But newly starting out, it's unlikely that you're going to have highly strengthened or refined gear, so potentially focus on getting a full set instead. The best set effect is Sharp Blade on low tier gear, just so you can get that attack as high as possible. Once you get towards higher tier gear, of course, there are better alternatives, but just to begin with, I would look to focus on getting a Sharp Blade set for both of these commanders. Now again, when I do a full breakdown video on my channel, I will go further into detail as to what items are best for them, but for now, just focus on pushing that attack as high as possible. Both of these commanders are capable of outputting pretty reasonable amounts of physical damage, and once ascended to the tier 2 stage, can compete with a lot of other tier 2s, and should form therefore the backbone of your starter formation. Though I would say, whether you choose to continue using these when you get better commanders, I do think there are better commanders available in the tier 2 and tier 3 category once available. So don't push too much resource into these. However, there's no harm in pushing whatever beer and tier 1 respect items you get into these commanders, just to keep them running and keep a good amount of damage in your formation. Next up is the tier 2 commander that you're given at the start of your first season. So for those who don't know this, depending on which faction you choose at the start of your Season 1, you're now given a free Tier 2 commander at Respect 0. Erebor shines here once again, as you're given possibly the best Tier 2 commander in Gimli. Gondor also looks up well as you get Éomer. However, Lothlorien and the evil factions don't look quite as favourably, as you get Arwen or the Mouth of Sauron, so I wouldn't recommend picking up either of these. However, Gimli and Éomer I would definitely recommend making part of your formation and choosing one of these two factions, particularly Erebor, as of course you can then utilise both Dwalin and Gimli. Quick build to both, as they are very similar and also similar to the two tier 1s we've already spoken about. So at Respect 0, you want to put all of your points into the top Respect 0 Marshal of the Mark. When you get to respect 3, you want to reskill to put all the points into Aedig, his respect 3 skill, and then any remainders into Marshal of the Mark. Make sure you do this in this order. And then once you get beyond respect 5, any remaining points you can put into his respect 5 skill, Red Leader, and be sure to use him with mounted troops. Now Gimli's quick skill build. So again, respect 0, you want to put all your skill points into his top respect 0 skill, which is Experienced Warrior, until you get to respect 3, where you then want to reallocate and put as many points as possible into Durin's Blood and any remainders into Experienced Warrior. There's a bit of a change, however. When you hit respect 5, you want to then reskill and put 10 points into Durin's Blood, only 5 into Experienced Warrior, and any remainders then go into Lord of the Glittering Cave. Reason being that then Lord of the Glittering Cave can benefit from the bonus damage from Durin's Blood and the bonus attack from Experienced Warrior. On both commanders again, you're looking for high attack gear and set effects. You want to increase again their attack until you get a full set of gold gear. So something like Sharp Blade as your set effect with bonus attack would work very well on both of these commanders. My next recommendation are the commanders that you get for completing Commander's Battle Plan. Now these can change drastically depending on whether you're on a roleplay or non-roleplay server. If you're in non-roleplay, you're in luck, as this, when you complete it, gives you the opportunity to get the Shadow Commander. Now the Shadow is another physical damage dealing commander, unfortunately, as you're going to have to find more physical damage gear. However, he is one of the best tier 2 physical damage dealers in the game, so you definitely want to choose him, whether you're maining good side or not. If you're going to carry on playing non-roleplay, definitely choose the Shadow. If you're on roleplay, your choices aren't quite as good. On the good side, you have Legolas, who's a very decent damage dealer, doesn't require high amounts of respect, though nothing worth really shouting about. I'd probably use him until you get a better option. But for non-roleplay players, you get the Shadow, so this is the one I would look to focus on. I believe Evil Side also gets the Shadow in roleplay, though I haven't been able to confirm this. But the Shadow is one of the best. Skill builds, again, just to be quick. Between Respect 0 and Respect 4, you want to put all of your skill points into Undertaker. Then you want to put 1 point into Black Númenórean. Of course, if you Respect 0, put any remainders into Black Númenórean. But if you have above Respect 3, put 1 into that and remainders into Hunting Expert. Once you get to Respect 5, however, you'll want to reskill and put as many points as possible into Shape of the Void, the Respect 5 skill. Also fill up Undertaker, try and get 10 in both of these. Then put 1 in Black Númenórean and remainders in Hunting Expert. Gear again, you're looking for maximum attack and a set such as Sharp Blade. Next up is the commander that you can get from the Top Up Rewards Purchasable bundle. Now this is a cheap bundle you get at the start of Season 1. For 99p you get a commander as well as a bunch of respect items, as well as a little bit of equipment. Now I know for both non-roleplay and for roleplay good side servers, this is Aragorn 2. In previous iterations, this used to be Carmel for evil side roleplay. However, there's yet to be a roleplay server with evil that can be chosen for me to verify this. However, I would say both Aragorn 2 and Carmel are fairly average, kind of mid-tier commanders, so they're not great to be used. But if you're looking for another commander to fill out a formation, you could do a lot worse than them as well. Aragorn 2 is another physical damage dealing commander that once again you'll want to spec into the top Respect 0 and Respect 3 skill trees if you have that respect level available, which if you purchase the bundle you should do. So yeah, put points first into Anduril and then the rest into Strider. If you can get into Respect 5, any remaining points will go into Hidden Heir. If you don't have him there, then the rest obviously go into Dunedain Chieftain. Now if you've picked up all of these physical damage dealing commanders, you're going to want some support or maybe even a tank to go into your formation with them to help them do their best work. Unfortunately, the chest in Rise to War Classic, which allowed you to very easily get Gandalf the Grey, has been removed, so you're going to have to go through other means in order to get your support commanders. Usually this will mean adding the commander to your wish list and hoping to get lucky with invitations or getting them through the regular Matham chest via picking up loads of their respect items. Of course, you can also use the exchange function to exchange any similar tier respect items across to the ones you desire. So which support commanders would I recommend that you aim towards? Well, first up, I would look to aim towards Gandalf the Grey. The reason for aiming for Gandalf the Grey is he has probably got the most broken skill in the game currently, which is White Council. When you get into Respect 3, you unlock the White Council skill, and this essentially allows you to massively reduce the amount of damage that your formation takes. So for example, if you're using otherwise physical damage dealing commanders, they'll die significantly less quickly so they can deal more damage over the duration of their fight. Outside of this skill, if you've got Gandalf the Grey and you're looking to build him, you'd want to put any remaining points into Mithrandir and then into the Respect 5 skill wizard if you have him Respect 5 at this point. But the main takeaway from this is that what you want to do is you want to add Gandalf the Grey to your wish list to try and get him as soon as possible, as in Season 1 he'll be a massive advantage, so try to look to pick him up as soon as possible and add him to your formation. The second support commander I would recommend is Frodo and Sam. Now, whilst a lot of Rise to War Classic players potentially might snigger at this, as Frodo and Sam was only kind of a meme commander, he has now, however, developed into one of the best tank commanders in the game in Rise to War 2.0. The reason for this is both his Ring Bearers and Master of Bag End skills allow him to take significantly reduced damage, so even whilst all the other commanders around him may die, he will take almost no damage at all. If you compare him with a troop such as the Swan Knight, or maybe even a Mountain Troll, or something which can taunt basically, he will take the majority of the damage and reduce it right down, so the rest of your commanders therefore don't take damage. So I'd look to get him in your formation as soon as possible, maybe even combine him with Gandalf the Grey if you're able to get both. I mentioned skilling him a little bit, but as I said, you want to put points into both Ring Bearers and Master of Bag End and look to maximise these as soon as possible. If you don't have him Respect 5, then you want to put your points into Master of Bag End first, and then any remaining into Hobbit Adventurer if possible. If not, then you'll have to put them into Harfoots, obviously. For kind of equipment for Frodo and Sam, what you want is unit support, preferably unit defense boost, so that you can keep those troops alive for as long as possible and improve his tank capabilities even further. And last up, having spoken about the wish list for Tier 2 commanders and that support, we might as well mention just towards the end Tier 3 commanders. Now, starting in Season 1, if you're not spending money, you can't expect to unlock a Tier 3 commander probably during this season unless you get very lucky with invitations. As far as which Tier 3s to unlock, this will of course be very much swayed by any invitations you do get if you're lucky enough to get one, and what other respect items you'd get. But for putting commanders on the wish list and trying to get them underway, there's a few which definitely stand out above the rest. First up is Gandalf the White, because he has excellent skills, as I aforementioned, similar to Gandalf the Grey, which is the White Council skill in his Respect 3 skill tree. Along with his Respect 5 skill as well, which also increases enemy damage received, he becomes one of the best support commanders in the game. So if you're looking for more support, definitely add him to the wish list. Alternatively, if you're looking for one of the best damage dealers in the game, probably the best, there's also Dane Ironfoot, so he would be a very worthwhile addition to your wish list. Last but not least, if you're looking for a final Tier 3 commander, you could do worse than Aragorn King of Men. Of course, there is a limited number of ones which you have available in Season 1. There are better ones available further you go on, such as Beorn. But I definitely recommend putting these 3 on your wish list and hoping to get lucky and see if you can pick one of them up. Though I'd recommend only focusing one Tier 3 at a time, as it's unlikely you'll get enough respect items to unlock multiple, and if you spread your items too thin, it will be a long time before you get access to one of the most powerful commanders in the game. Anyway, with that, I hope that gives you guys kind of starting new Season 1s a guide on where you should look to take your formation and what commanders are available to you and how to best set up to try and have a very powerful formation by the end of your season. If you found this valuable and useful, please hit the like button and please consider subscribing. Also, if you're going to look to buy any of the purchasable packs within the store, please see my affiliate link below, which is quick and easy and also offers the packs at a discounted price. With that, I've been HAW Gaming, and I really hope to see you on the next one.